Now, the first thing here, the login information for the product management system. That is for my WordPress website. When you log in there, the one thing you're really looking for is over here on the sidebar, this product management link. And this will take you into this product management system where you're going to be able to do everything that you need to do in terms of looking up people's license information or account information for various products that they've purchased. And you can also go in here to create new licenses for any of my products as well. Now this is also kind of a work in progress. This is what I've been working on over the last number of weeks, and it's a really complicated system on the back end because it has to connect up to a different database for each of these sites here. So it actually connects up to 14 different databases at the moment. And getting all that to kind of work correctly together has been a bit of an initial struggle, but I think I'm on track now. If some little quirks do show up though, just let me know about them, and I'm also going to be kind of fine-tuning this and even adding some additional features over time, especially as new situations might come up where you might need to do something that maybe this system can't do or something. You know, I can add that type of stuff in as we go. But to start with, the main thing here, you have these three fields over on the left: email, first name, and last name. You can punch in any amount of information that you might know about the customer here to try to find existing licenses that they may have. And this is also kind of how it works when you are creating a new license as well. So just for example, I'll do a search. I set up a lot of my demo licenses under my Gmail email address. So I'm just going to enter in my email. Let's say a customer had contacted me and maybe they want to find their download link for a particular product, or maybe even for all my products. Sometimes people lose their links or whatever, and they'll just send in a support ticket asking to retrieve their link for them. So I can punch in the email that I know for them here. Over on the right, I can select an individual product, or I can also go up here to the top and select or deselect all of them. So I can try to find all the licenses that exist for this email for all of my different products by just clicking on the search button here. So then this will pull up everything that it can find. Sometimes there may be multiple results. As you can see, I have a lot of different review copies set up for some of my older plugins. I set up individual review copies for each different person, and as things kind of progressed, I realized there was no point in going through all that trouble, really. So, but anyways, this screen here, once you have searched for anybody's license information, the main part that you're going to be looking at will be in this middle column right here where it says download and access. This will tell you what information you can provide to the customer to get them access to their product again. So for some of the products, you have login information. The link here will direct you to a login screen, usually on a WordPress site, and then you also have a username. Now anytime this situation appears, I cannot possibly retrieve the password that is stored for that user. However, if the person doesn't know what their password is any longer, you can simply direct them to go to this login page, and I just tell them to look for the lost password link. So they can go to this page here, and it'll ask them for either their username or their email. So as long as you're providing them with their username here and possibly the email that is connected up with their account, then they can recover their password through the login pages on any of these WordPress websites that way. Now, for plugins, these are automatically going to just give you a download link. So you can simply right-click on one, click on copy link address, or this is Google Chrome that I'm in. Obviously, this right-click menu is a little bit different for each of the browsers. But regardless, you can copy this entire link right here and provide this to the user, and that takes them to their normal download pages for the plugins. Now, there are also a couple of my products that get a little confusing. Combos On is one of them. Combos On has both download links and login information. The login information is going to my own website. When I was creating Combos On, I started realizing that I had a lot of different products, and I wanted to kind of test out how it might work to basically do delivery on all my products from one single website, and Combos On was kind of my attempt at that. So that is why the download links are on the Combos On website, and the login is actually on my own website, the RyanStevensonPlugins.com site. Now, you can just provide people with the download link, and this will give them access to the plugin itself. However, the login information, that really is used for the separate web edition and the Facebook app. That's what they need that login information for. So that would be this link here, and also the username and passwords work the same way as with any of the other sites. So here you basically just have two sets of information. If for some reason you've run across a Combos On license like this one that's showing up here, where there's a download link but it's not showing you a username, that just means that it can't find an account for that particular person. There are some special circumstances where somebody might not have the web edition account, but they have access to the plugin. I've done a number of specials over the years since I created this plugin, and some of them I was just simply offering the plugin and I didn't include the web edition access for. So if you run across something like that where it's not showing you a username, just don't provide them with their login link here. Just give them the download link in that circumstance. So going down the list a little more here, the other one I'm looking for, there we go, WP Semantic. WP Semantic also really works the same way as Combos On. You have a download link and a separate login information for the web edition. Most people, though, should have a username for this site, but there are still some circumstances where I just sold the plugin and not a separate web edition too. So again, if you don't see the username down below, just provide them with the download link for that. Now, any of the other ones are all normal plugins where I just have a download link, or it could be just the standard WordPress websites where you have login information. Now, at this current moment in time, the one thing about this system that you can see here that is really not entirely functional yet are the edit and delete functions, where you can completely remove a license or where you could edit information about a particular license. Like if you wanted to change the email address on a license, or if you needed to upgrade an account, for example, some of the plugins will have special features over here like a developer's license. And if somebody, maybe they purchased the developer license upgrade and maybe it didn't actually upgrade their account or something, you might need to go through and edit it. There really are not a lot of situations like that come up, though, honestly, which is part of the reason why I do not have this quite completed yet. But it's also kind of a even more complicated system than the rest of it, and it's just not quite functional yet. It will be there fairly soon, hopefully within the next week or two. In the meantime, though, if you do find something that you need to edit from an existing license, just let me know and I can take care of those things for you pretty easily. Now, the other thing about this system, let's see, before I go on to creating new licenses with it, let me talk about searching just in a little bit more detail, because there are a few options up here. If you notice down below, for Daily Deal-A-Thon, for example, I have 2 licenses here that are registered to my email address, but they're registered to different names. You will also sometimes have licenses where the names are exactly the same, but the email addresses are different. You can, again, provide information up here to try to find the exact licenses that you are looking for, or you will also sometimes get customers that really don't provide you the information that you need to look up their license, and you might search the email address that they used from a support ticket, and maybe you can't find anything. So then you might need to go and search for their name. But maybe you search for Ryan and come up with a whole bunch of different possibilities besides just, the one you're looking for. You can always refine your search a little bit by filling in a second box. But again, if you just search this, you're actually going to get the exact same results that you had before, because when you are just searching any of these fields, it is looking for any matches of anything that you put in up here. It's not looking to match everything that you are putting in up here. If you do want it to match everything that you are searching, you need to click on this Match All Fields right here and click on Search. And then it should only pull up, again, things that have the full first and last name in it. Now, you will sometimes get examples like this where it still shows this to you as a possible result, because this is technically a extra system, I guess, that I added for people that maybe had a second purchase under the same email address. There was some issue with the licensing system actually creating their account for them correctly. So sometimes there will be these random 4 numbers on the end of a last person's name, and that will also end up being transferred to the username here. And this is just to make it unique in the system so they can have separate licenses there. Now, one of the other things you have is match similar. Let's say you know the person's name is Ken, but maybe searching Ken isn't bringing up any results. Maybe their actual name on their PayPal account is Kenneth, whereas when they're talking to you in a support ticket, they're using the name Ken. You will find that the actual licenses get created with the official information from a PayPal account that comes through for a transaction. So sometimes you may need to search for a similar result where it would bring up not only Ken, but it would also bring up Kenneth results here as well. So you can kind of use a combination of these three fields and the match similar or match all fields. You can even use both of these together, and also, again, in combination with all the different products that are available to find the appropriate license that you're looking for. Now, when you are wanting to create a new license, this works in the exact same way that we were just doing for the searching, except this time we're going to be clicking on this Create New button. Now, whenever you want to create a new license for something, and there's a number of circumstances where you might need to do this. Every now and again I do different bonus offers where I will offer a free plugin or a free particular product of mine for purchasing the product through my affiliate link. So you might need to go through support tickets where they have requested a particular product and then come over here and create a license. You might also have circumstances where maybe somebody made a purchase for a product and they didn't receive their download information. You would then go in here and search for their download information. But if you couldn't find it for some reason, then that could again be another circumstance where you could just go ahead and create a license for them. Maybe something went wrong with the processing script. Every now and again, PayPal has hiccups and the payment transactions just won't get beamed to my server. They just seemingly disappear. And you'll get like a short little flood of support tickets for many purchases that happened during that time period, and they will be looking for their license. So if you need to create a license, just first search for the person's name and email just to make sure that they don't already have a license, because I run across that a lot. People that may have purchased one of my plugins a couple years ago or something, and maybe they completely forgot about it. Maybe they think that they don't receive updates to new versions for free. I'm not entirely sure why it happens, but I have people that purchase the same product twice, and I have people that will request a bonus product when they already have it and, you know, actually purchased it a couple of years ago. So there are circumstances like that that come up all the time. So before you create a license through here, make sure you search their email, and if you can't find it that way, even try searching parts of their name just to be sure that they don't have an existing license. So then if you are sure that they do not have one, just provide all of this information over here, the email, the name, both first and last name. So I'm just going to do a test account here and just put in some fake information. I'll use the name Ken. I'll use the last name test account. Now, you do the same thing once you have the information. as you would do with a search, with selecting the product or possibly multiple products that you want to create a license for them for. So you could select Azon SEO Master, ComboZon, and Product Style. This is kind of a bit of a variety of the different types of products I have. This one is login information, this one is a download link for a plugin, and this one is a download link for a plugin that also includes login information. So those are kind of the three different types of products that I mainly have. So once you have all the information put in here and at least one product selected that you're creating the license for over here, then you can click on Create New. Now after you click on Create New, it is going to ask you for some information for each of the licenses that you want to create. Now this particular part, I need to spice this up a little bit more to make it a little more self-explanatory in terms of what all these options might be. For now though, if you do have questions about anything particular that you might need to create, just feel free to ask. I was more focused on getting this working than making it pretty for now. So any products where you have a login information for a WordPress website, that's going to be everything here in this first column except for Azon Publisher Studio. That's a WordPress plugin. And then let's see, IM Taxes will also have login information. All four of those except for Azon Publisher Studio and then also IM Taxes will ask you for a member level. This is going to be a number of 1, 2, or 3. Now, I do kind of have some explanations for these roles, is what I call them when you are searching for products. So if you're not entirely sure, you may be able to just search for an existing license. You can use that phpnetpro@gmail.com and likely find a license for any given product of mine. And it may give you a little more of a description there about what these roles really mean. If you're not sure, just leave it on 1. For, let's see, Azon SEO Master, IM Taxes, Azon Niche Master, and I guess really also Azon Masterclass 2. The member role is always going to be 1. The only exception to that, with Azon Masterclass 2, I had the extra Skype mastermind meetings. Anybody that was part of those and is in Azon Masterclass 2, they would actually be a member level of 2. However, you're really not going to run across any circumstances where you have to create a license like that, because that series is now over. I have one more mastermind meeting to do for that, but I don't sell any more access to that. So still, that would only be a member level of 1. The one product, though, that you might have different member levels for would be Azon Home Study Course. These member levels apply to the different options that I have for that product. Level 1 is the ebooks only. Level 2 is the ebooks and the videos. And then level 3 includes the ebooks, the videos, and the plugins. Now the plugins that are included with level 3 of Azon Home Study Course are these two here, Product Style and Upsell Azon. and then the top 3 in this column: Combos On, Daily Deal is On, and Extend is On. Now, for now, do not create any level 3 memberships for Azon Home Study Course, because it will not automatically create the plugin licenses. That's really the one aspect of this license creation system that I really was not able to get completed yet. However, if you did need to create a level 3 membership for that site, you can simply create a level 2 membership and then just create separate licenses for all of these 6 products. That way you could give them login information here and then download links for the 5 plugins that are supposed to come with that level 3. So for Azon SEO Master, the only thing I want to do is just leave that on level 1. I will eventually, when I can tidy this up a little bit, I will make it to where for products like Azon SEO Master, where it should always be 1, it just won't even ask you, or 1 will be the only option. But for now, I wanted to explain what all that was about. There probably won't be a lot of circumstances where you'll need this, but again, I'm just trying to kind of cover a variety of situations. Now with Combos On and Product Style and also any of my other WordPress plugins, it'll ask you if you want a developer's license or not. Now, with the developer's license for particular products, let's see, I think I made a list of this. And I don't see it. Hold on. Yeah, there we go. These 3 right here, with Combos On, WP Semantic, and Upsell is On. Whenever you are giving them a developer's license, they are also getting these extra features that came with the developer's license upsell. With Combos On, they're getting Combos On Pro. That gives them access to the with the Facebook app for Combos On, where you can generate the ad images. Combos On Pro allows me to host those images for you. Whereas if you don't have Combos On Pro, then you have to download the image and go and upload it to your own site to be able to use them. With WP Semantic, developers licenses come with the extra URL edition, where you can enter in URLs of particular web pages, and it will scan those pages to try to pull semantic keywords instead of using just the normal keyword search. The normal keyword search pulls information off of Wikipedia, actually. Now with Upsell is On, and when you get the developer's license, it comes with the customization package. The customization package includes, let's see how to explain this the best. With Upsell is On, you have the accessory ads that are automatically placed on the site in a widget. With the customization package, you can browse your live site and actually edit some of the aspects of those ads directly on your site. You can remove particular ads that you don't want to show up there. You can edit the titles. You can also rearrange the ordering of the advertisements. And I believe that also includes a style system like I have with most of my plugins, like Product Style, where you have the different ad styles that you can set up. The customization package also lets you create different styles that can then be used for those accessory ads. So those 3 products, when you give somebody a developer's license, you will automatically be giving them those extra upgrades. So if you needed to give somebody one of those particular upgrades with a license, and you weren't quite sure how to go about doing that, I just wanted to mention that, because with Combazon, if you needed to give somebody Combazon and Combazon Pro, then you would simply make sure that it is a developer's license, and it'll automatically make all that happen. So after you select all the options that you want, you just click on the Create Licenses button here, and it's going to spit out all the information that you need. Now, you can really just kind of copy and paste this into a support ticket, for example, and that would automatically give them all the links and the login information, etc., that they need to access all those products that you just created licenses for. Now, if you needed to find those accounts later, once you leave this screen right here, you're never going to see these passwords again. So make sure you copy this information and make sure you have done whatever you're planning on doing with it before you move off of this particular page, because once you search for these products, you're only going to get the username. After this point, the password is only encrypted. So now I can search for this email address that I just used, and it would pull up all these different accounts for me over here. Now let's see. For the most part, that should pretty much cover at least the basics of this product management system. There will be, again, some other things that I will likely want to walk you through later on once I have like all the editing features set up, or if you have a particular ticket that comes up where you need to edit something here, we can get to those types of things as they come up. But at least you should be able to search through all the licenses and also create licenses for any of my products this way. Now, another thing I wanted to mention, if you don't have any of my products, I'm not really sure if there's any particular ones out of this list that you actually don't have, but if there are any of them, feel free to create yourself a license for them, and also for any future releases. As long as you do support for me, please don't buy anything from me. You can have it all for free, because ultimately, you being familiar with my products makes you better at support for my products. So I guess consider that a bit of a employee perk. Now, let me shut down a couple of these pages I had opened up here. Oh, you're quite welcome. Happy to do it. And that's, again, not just to use them for learning, but, you're also welcome to use any of that stuff with your own, ventures with Amazon. In a lot of ways, I kind of thought that, by helping me out, it would help to fund your future ventures with Amazon, and give you some time and freedom and all that to work on that stuff on the side while still having something reliable up front here. Now, this is the support ticket system here. Login information, again, is the same for this as it is for my WordPress site for your account there. Now with these tickets, anytime a new ticket comes into my support system, at least for the time being, and as long as it remains working out okay and you're comfortable with it and everything, I'll leave it set that way into the future as well. So anytime I get a new support ticket, it'll first come in to you. You'll get an email notification about it. Did you receive some email notifications already for, I guess you probably should have gotten 7 of them. And these were all, let's see, a little over an hour ago that they would have come through. I just want to make sure I had your account set up correctly. Okay, cool. So you'll get one of those anytime there's a new ticket. You'll also get one of those if somebody updates a ticket after you make a reply to them. Then if they go and post an update to that, then you will also get, it'll say, well, let me look over here. I forget exactly what they say. The new tickets will say ticket assigned, and then the updated tickets will say new reply to, and it'll tell you the subject there. Now, we have the tickets being listed here. You can sort them if you need to. I like to keep them kind of sorted by updated, and this keeps your oldest tickets up at the top and your newest tickets down at the bottom, so you can just work through them from the top and essentially just always be working on the ticket that's always up at the top of the list. And then as you finish that ticket, it will disappear from this list once you have replied to it. Now, if you need to go back into an old ticket, let's say maybe you just replied to a ticket and it disappears from your list here and you just realized you forgot some information or something from it. You can select these different options here to get different kinds of tickets to show up. Actually, what I was just talking about is in this top list here. So this will currently show you the replied tickets. However, I'm going to actually remove that and change the default view right here. This will end up being the easiest way to go in terms of managing your tickets. That way, when you reply to one, it will disappear from this list. Otherwise, you'll just have tons of tickets and you'll have to be wading through them and figuring out which ones you replied to, and it's just a lot easier, I think, to leave the replied ones out of it. But if you do need to go back in and find a replied one that you already replied to, and maybe you need to post something else to it, or maybe even a ticket that you've already resolved or that the other person has already marked as being a resolved ticket, you can search back through those tickets as well. There are also other options down below where you can change how they're automatically being sorted or grouping, or how many tickets are showing up on a particular page. If there's anything here after you get a little used to it that you want to change around, is quite okay with me. I would just recommend always keeping these 2 checkboxes checked, because if you remove them, then you might not be seeing the new tickets that are coming in. So now, I want to show you, I've kind of picked out a few recent support tickets that I have not responded to yet, really over the last 2 days. I saved a couple even just to make sure I could cover up a couple of different examples of what to do. So I have a few different things to walk you through here to give you some kind of real-life examples on this training. So just to start with, I'm clicking on the first one up at the top here. And this is for my recent affiliate promotion for Fresh Bundlemaster. Whenever I have new bonus promotions that I'm offering where it might bring in support tickets for people making requests on it, I'll be sure to let you know about those just so you are aware of them, and also so you can possibly expect a minor flood of them to come in. But I really never seem to get too overwhelmed, and I honestly try to avoid doing this type of bonus just simply because people really respond the best to more the instant gratification where I go ahead and create a bonus and I have it automatically available for download after their purchase. They simply buy more of those than they do if they have to wait for a live webinar or if they have to submit a request for a license or a download link or something. So I do try to avoid these, but every now and again they kind of fit, or it's just something extra that I'm throwing in, and so you will still see these on occasion, I guess. So they're usually pretty simple. They will simply be asking for a particular product of mine that I've offered as part of the bonus. Most of them do not really include a lot of transaction information. I used to go through the trouble of trying to track down whether or not the person actually purchased. When I was using Warrior Plus, this was a little easier to do because at least some of the payments came directly to me and I could verify who those payments were coming from, but it still didn't cover all of them. But now with JVZoo, I don't have any information about who the actual people are that are purchasing through my affiliate link. So a lot of times it is just an honor system type of thing. With Fresh Bundlemaster though, there shouldn't really be anybody that requested a bonus here that didn't actually purchase, because I did set up a bonus page that included all the links to my products that they could pick from, and then it gave them a link to the support ticket system to submit their request. And there was also a bonus webinar that went along with that. So these people, at least, they should all be verified for the most part. With the rest of them, any other offers that I might do, it's not that big of a deal. The only way I can verify a purchase is to actually go to the vendor that I'm promoting the product through and ask them to look up the individual purchase one at a time and verify that I'm the affiliate. And that's a lot of trouble for me to have to go through. It's also a lot of trouble to have to always be bothering the other vendors for, because they're always really busy at launch time. So I really just kind of go on the honor system here. If they submit a request, I give them the bonus that they're asking for. So for this guy, he wants to get product style plugin. A lot of times with these bonus offers, I do typically go ahead and provide a developer's license. There are some exceptions to that, I guess, but a lot of times nowadays with plugins and bonuses, I am going ahead and offering the developer's license for them. So what I do is I copy their email address that they are using for this support ticket, and then I also look at their name. I can either remember it, or I can always flip back after just a minute. So I can punch in their email here. I remember their name was Alan ThinkHoube. Make sure I spelled that right, H-O-U-B-E. So once I have their information punched in here, I'll remove my previous checks and just select product style. And now I can click on Create New. And then it'll ask me developer's license. I'll go ahead and do yes for that. And why didn't that come up? I forgot to do one thing first of all. I never did search. Okay, so this is likely why that failed. Again, I have a little tidying up to do with this thing to where if you are trying to create something like this, I can't actually verify without going into my database whether I did just indeed create this or whether it was a pre-existing license for this particular plugin. Since I can't verify that right here, again, that's something that I'll have to go and check out exactly what occurred with that person. But they are obviously requesting this plugin. I will hope at least that they had not previously purchased it and that I actually did just create it and maybe my script that outputted it simply failed. So what I do when I am replying to any support ticket, I first start out by saying usually hi or hello and then whatever their first name is. I try to keep it, you know, kind of formal writing style. I guess my English teacher branded that into me growing up. So I'll say, hi, Alan. Thank you for your purchase. Whenever somebody purchases something, I try to say, thank you for your purchase. If they have a problem, I try to say, sorry for the problem you experienced. So, you know, I always, I guess that's another thing I've always tried to do, which I'm sure you've probably experienced some of that. I try to do kind of more detailed personal customer support. I would much rather pay twice as much, you know, for twice the time for more detailed personal customer support than I would for, you know, just one canned response after another. So then I simply say, for a bonus at least, I say I have created your, and I just repeat the product style, and I'll usually specify the license too. So I have created your product style developer's license for you and have included your download link below. And then all I have to do is paste in the link that I got from the product management system over here. I usually also go on to say, please let me know if you have any questions or problems. And then I usually reiterate whatever I have started my ticket with. If they've bought something, I reiterate my thank you. If they've had a problem, I reiterate my apology here. So I will just say thank you again, and I usually try to rephrase it somehow. So at the top I might say thank you for your purchase. At the bottom I might say thank you again for your business. Now whenever you are ending a support ticket, you don't ever have to provide your name or any of that other kind of stuff. That all gets handled for you automatically in your signature. I'll show you that in just a second after I post this. So whenever you have ended a message, just make sure you don't have any blank lines below whatever your ending is. Put your ending, thank you again for your business, or sorry again for any inconvenience is usually what I use for the apologies. And just make sure you don't have blank lines down below it. And then as you can see down here, it says attach signature. So just click on submit reply whenever you are satisfied, and that will send in the reply here. So as you can see, I'm on your account here, and where I concluded it down below, it automatically adds in the signature that I have set up on your profile. It just says George Drum, Ryan Stevenson support staff, and then has a link to the homepage of my website. So once you have done a ticket here, one other thing I want to mention, there is a clock down at the bottom for time worked on a ticket. Don't feel like you need to bother with this or follow by it or whatever. I'm not looking to pay for the time that you actually spend in a ticket itself. More like you sit down at the computer to start doing support work, start keeping track of your time there, and stop keeping track when you get up and finish that work. You know, not one individual ticket at a time, because obviously that would end up cutting your time potentially in half, which, you know, I'm not looking to do that. I'm looking to pay for the time that you actually spend. Oops, I'm glad that didn't submit. I tried to send it again, but it was empty. So now, once you have replied to a ticket, you can just go up here and click on the home link, and it'll automatically take you back to your list of tickets. And as you can see, I'm now down to 6 tickets instead of 7. But again, if I needed to, let's say I just sent that message and I forgot to include the download link for that bonus plugin, which was the whole reason in replying to them. I've done it before. If you do it, it's quite okay. Don't worry about it. Just try to, you know, realize if you did it, or obviously they'll let you know if for some reason you don't realize. But if you do realize, you can just click on replied right here and click on show tickets, and then it will show you that one that we just replied all the way down at the bottom because it was the most recently updated. Whenever you or the other person updates the ticket, it gets bumped to the bottom. And then you can see over here for the status, it says replied, and the last replier was you. So that's how you can kind of pick out the particular ticket that you might be looking for. So then you could go back into it and post another reply to it. You can go back and edit a reply if you need to, but it's not that absolutely necessary, unless maybe if you just noticed like a really bad typo or something, or if something was just grossly inaccurate, then, you know, you can edit it. Otherwise, if it's just information that you just need to kind of update, you know, it's completely okay to post 2 tickets, ticket replies in a row. So going back to this page here, as you can see, once I go back to my home page, it no longer shows me that replied ticket because that's not my default view. If you click reply and then click this, then it will always show you the replied ones. But again, I like to just leave it set like this so I can manage the tickets that actually do need my attention and not worry about the other ones. So again, same thing here with another ticket. I pulled this particular one up. They do give some purchase information, which some people also do, but I also pulled this particular one up because they had another question that they ended up adding into it. Whenever somebody updates a ticket, you can see they did it here. If you look at the timestamp, a little under 2 minutes afterwards. That's not really going to make a big difference. But you do have some people that are impatient, and if they don't get a reply within whatever time frame they have in mind, they might go back and maybe a day later post another reply to it. And that actually will cause their ticket to get bumped back down to the bottom of the list. So ultimately, a lot of the people that are trying to be the most frantic about getting support might actually end up waiting the longest, and it's not intentional, but just kind of the way the system really works. So I wanted to at least point that out. So with this person, they are asking for daily deals on. So I can take their email, punch it in here. If you ever encounter a name like this that uses some of the foreign characters that we don't use in the English language, just enter them in normal English into this system here. I can't exactly guarantee what would happen if you use the non-English characters. It may work in some cases and may cause things to go horribly wrong in others. Like if you're trying to create a license for any site where you have to log in, it'll use the name to create their username, and that can cause problems if it's not in English language. So for this guy, I have his info entered. I can click on daily deals on. I will deselect product style that I was using for the previous guy. Now again here, I'm going to actually remember to do this time, to search for licenses before I try to create it for them. So I can search there. I could also search. It's a lot of times better just to search with just the email alone, just to make sure that there's nothing registered under that email. If there maybe, sometimes people use PayPal accounts that are actually registered to their spouse, and it'll have a different first name on it than they might be providing you with. There's all kinds of different things like that that kind of come up that can sometimes be a little confusing, but ultimately aren't too much of a problem. So we're going to create a daily deals on license for this guy now, and click on create new. And for the developer's license, I will answer yes. And now I get my download link. So I can copy my download link and again do the same thing here. Hi Bjorn, thank you for your purchase. I have created your daily deals on download link, developer's license for you, and have included your download link below. You don't have to use exact language that I do, although if you want to, it's not a problem. You're welcome to kind of make a list, I guess, if you want, in a notepad file, or there is even up at the top here, this canned. You can create your own canned responses for things that you find yourself repeating over and over again. You don't have to, but if you would like to, you are definitely welcome to do that. So now I've done what I was going to do for this guy already, but I also have this extra question. He was asking about the bonus training webinar, if it'll be recorded. Whenever anybody is asking about whether a webinar will be recorded or not, the answer is always yes. So I will just also say, yes, the bonus webinar will be recorded. Basically, when anybody asks about that, you simply say, be sure to register for it if you have not already done so. The recording link will be emailed to registrants after it is, well, I usually say within 24 hours of it ending. It just sometimes depends on how quickly I can get the recordings uploaded onto YouTube and processed and all that other kind of stuff. So then I conclude it just like I do any of the other ones. Please feel free to let me know if you have any problems or questions. Thank you again for your business. I always try to say thank you and not thanks. Something they taught me at a marketing conference once. So I don't know if you noticed there, but I had a couple blank lines down below it. Sometimes they just end up down there even though you don't intentionally put them there. Just make sure you don't have any blank lines down below your closing, so your signature can sit below it, and click on Submit Reply, and we will get that posted up for them. I need to pause for just a second. I will be right back. Okay, so I basically did the same thing there with that guy, just to reiterate what the bonus is, but you do sometimes have people throwing in extra little questions or whatever. I always just try to thoroughly read whatever it is they're sending me, because sometimes they're trying to accomplish 2 or 3 or 4 different things with a ticket, whereas another person might just be trying to accomplish one thing. And even though they may appear to all be the same type of thing, you do have some people that throw in extra little random questions, and I try to do my best to always cover those types of things for them. So now that I have that guy done, and let's see, I think those are the bonuses. Oh no, wait. Okay, this is a good example here. Alan Hubie that we just did a few minutes ago. He has replied, I believe, to our ticket. This is actually a good example. I'm going to go into this one real quick just to see. Okay, so he just says right here, thank you very much for your assistance. So whenever you have a ticket that you have handled and the person replies back to it and they seem satisfied and it seems like there's nothing else that you're supposed to be doing for, whatever this person has contacted you for, what you do at this point is you click this checkbox right here for, whichever ticket it is. You can even do multiple tickets at a time if you find that you have a couple of these tickets open that are like this. And then down here, you just click Mark Selected Tickets Resolved and click the Execute button. It'll ask you if you're sure. You click OK, and then it automatically resolves the ticket. So that changes the status from replied, which is the status after you reply to a ticket. It changes to replied, and then if the person again posts another update to it, then it goes to waiting reply. So it's waiting on another reply from you, although then you just check it to see if it actually needs another reply from you or not. And then if it doesn't, then you mark it as resolved, and then it would be under the resolved tickets here. So again, if you ever needed to go back to one of your resolved tickets, maybe you realize maybe there was something else that you did need to add, or maybe you realize, hey, this response right here is a response that I might use pretty frequently. So, if you want to go back and copy some text out of it to add into a canned response or something, you can pull up the resolved tickets that way. There is also an option here for merging tickets. you will sometimes get people that post a bunch of different tickets, and they'll put one question in each ticket, or they might ask you the same question in 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 different tickets. Anytime you get something like that, you can simply check them and merge them. So, for example, with this guy, now I don't ever recommend doing this before you actually look at the tickets, just to be sure if they need to be merged, because if they are completely separate, you don't have to merge them, but you can choose to merge them if you want. So I'm going to open this ticket here. They're asking for a refund on their plugin purchase. One other thing I want to point out, you have right here a product name specification. This is something that the customer gets to choose on the support ticket side. When they are submitting their ticket, they can choose the product. However, not everybody will actually choose the product. And this, when you see AZON Masterclass 1/AZON Home Study Course, always ask whether that's actually the product they're talking about or not. If you're really not sure, you can ask them. Otherwise, try to do a little bit of research. Something that you can do if you're really not sure. Can I not select that row? You can just copy their email address and go over here to... Do you ever do that? go to paste something in, and instead you accidentally copy it and have to go right back to the beginning. Okay, so I can put in his email here, and I can search all of his products if I want to. And I can find out, hey, this guy has purchased AZON Niche Master, and he has purchased Product Style. But he hasn't purchased AZON Masterclass or AZON Home Study Course. So I know he's not talking about that. So I might have to do a little bit more digging, but it just kind of depends on what information they give you. He tells you the purchase price and the purchase date right here, so that's useful information in addition to his email address. And he mentions it's an Amazon WordPress plugin. So now I'm going to look at the other ticket from this guy, Pat Volk. Again, you can see right here that he didn't select the product. He just left it as the default selection. And down below he says, please refund my purchase price $17. I am no longer interested in Amazon. This is something that you get. Ultimately, it really doesn't matter why somebody wants a refund. I offer no question money back guarantees. So if somebody submits me a support ticket and they want a refund, as long as it is within 60 days, then I honor that refund request. If they tell me that there is something, if they give me a reason for wanting the refund, something they don't like or whatever, you can pass that information along to me. Send me a Skype message, or I don't know exactly what the best way to do that will be. You could always just send me, maybe even make up like a daily or maybe even just like a weekly report, because I really don't get a ton of support requests unless, I have a lot of active stuff going on. There might be a couple of tickets a day that come in, just on an average, I would say. So for this guy here, he is asking for a refund on 2 different tickets, and one he says is 17 and the other one he says is 9. I was also able to find these 2 products here, so I can be pretty confident that these are the products that he is asking for the refund on. If you ever run into a situation where you're not sure, please feel free to ask. I don't mind being bugged at all if it deals with possibly processing a refund that's not supposed to. Even if you do, it's really not a big deal. So anytime you need to do a refund, you have to log into my JVZoo account. Another reason why I've been hesitant over the years to get somebody involved with customer support, at least the way that all the other marketers tell me that I should be doing it. They tell me I should hire a guy from India and pay him $2 an hour to do my customer support. I'm not really cool with that. I want somebody that, actually speaks and writes normal English and can, do more than just copy and paste a basic response, make people feel like they're not being outsourced overseas. I don't really like support responses like that where it's hard to understand or obviously wasn't written by an English-speaking person or whatever. So, that's why I have kind of avoided it for so long. That and certain things like refunds through JVZoo, unfortunately, they do not have a way that I can just set up an extra account to administrate that kind of stuff. I can do that kind of thing with PayPal, I guess, but ultimately most of my sales and most of my refunds end up needing to be done through JVZoo. So I have provided you info for my JVZoo account. I will be changing that password, which I mentioned, on a regular basis. I'll probably end up making a change just within the next week or so, but I'll be sure to let you know about that when I do. But just whatever my info for this JVZoo account is, please try to protect it. If for some reason it were to get hacked or something, I don't think it would be catastrophic. I'd notice it pretty quickly, and I'm sure I can always get JVZoo to recover it for me. So once you are logged in, the main thing that you're really going to need to do in the account here is under Sellers. You go to Sellers and you go down to Reports, and then you go to Transaction Report. Now on this page, you can search a limited amount of information: PayPal transaction IDs, emails, and JVZoo payment IDs. So let me flip back over to the support tickets. As you can see, this guide does not provide any actual transaction information. Let me pull up, was it that resolved ticket? No, it was the other one, the replied ticket. This guy here that was asking for that bonus, he provided a payment ID. Sometimes you will get this information when somebody is asking for a refund. It'll usually be like AP dash and then a bunch of letters and numbers. This is acceptable. You could punch this information as long as it was a purchase actually through me. I don't believe this works for affiliate purchases. But if this person was saying, hey, I just bought, let's say I was the vendor of Fresh Bundle Master and they bought it through me and they were asking for a refund and they gave me their payment ID, I could put that payment ID in here to find their purchase. I'm going to search it. I don't think this is going to pull anything up though. It won't pull anything up because it is, again, an affiliate purchase. But for this guy that purchased one of my products, I can copy his email since he has provided that, and hopefully he actually purchased with that email address. I can't tell you how many times I get a refund request and this is all the information I get from somebody, and the email that they're using is not the email that they purchased with, and they don't provide me any transaction information whatsoever. If you happen to come across something like that and this page doesn't pull up anything for you, feel free to ask me. I can try to help track down that purchase information. So now, once I perform this search here, I see that there is product style plugin and also the developer's license. Now, if you noticed here, when I searched that, I found product style and I found Azon Niche Master. When I ran the product style launch, I sometimes, do little bonus products that get tossed in with upsells. Sometimes one of the upsells for product style was for a developer's license, and when you bought that developer's license upsell, you also got a free copy of Azon Niche Master. So that is why he has this account, and also why he has product style with a developer's license, even though he has only made 2 purchases through me, at least with that email address ever, or at least only through JVZoo. I haven't been using JVZoo forever. I used Warrior Plus for 2 or 3 years or so before I ever even created an account on JVZoo. So, but nowadays I try to keep everything on JVZoo. There are still some products of mine that are sold on Warrior Plus. I'm in the process of getting all those moved over though. For the most part though, if you're getting a refund request, it's either through JVZoo or through a private sale that I ran, which would only be through my PayPal account. If you do get one of those, then I'll show you what to do with that one in just a minute. So with this guy, he has asked us for a refund on a $17 purchase and on a $9 purchase, and he gave us the date of 6/18. So I'm going to look at these 2 purchases right here. These should be the 2 purchases he is referring to. So I can see one on June the 18th, just like he said, for $9. And then the other one, also on the same day, for $17. So as I was suspecting, he got the developer's license upgrade, and Azon Niche Master was a bonus that he got. So these are the 2 purchases that I want to refund. So to actually process a refund, you go down here and click on Refund This Sale. And then you just type in refund up here in all capital letters to confirm. And then click on Confirm Refund. And it automatically takes care of everything. Now this is refunding the buyer, and it is also refunding my JVZoo fee that I paid them for that particular sale. It's refunding my PayPal fee for receiving that sale, and it's also refunding the payment that I sent to the affiliate that referred that sale, if there was one. So as you can see here, the person that referred this sale, and was the other sale as well, was Mike McKay. And so it automatically does everything that needs to be done and handles all that in the background, so you don't really have to worry about that. Once this is processed, nothing else needs to be done. Now, if you ever get to this point and you type refund and you click confirm refund, if it stays on this page and gives you a big message in this box right here with a bunch of text saying that some of the payments part of this sale or something could not be refunded or whatever, stop at that point and refer that to me, and I'll go and check it out. Sometimes if the person has already maybe they submit a refund request, but then maybe they also go over to PayPal and open up a dispute. I have a lot of people that will just open up a dispute and not even ask you for a refund, maybe. Or they'll do both. It just kind of depends. Some people think that the PayPal dispute system is for getting a refund when you want to get a refund, but it's really something you're supposed to use for when you've tried contacting the person and you can't work something out and you want PayPal to handle that dispute to try to get you a refund. Obviously, not everybody uses it like that though. So being the vendor, you get to kind of deal with that. On JVZoo, it presents itself like that message that I was just telling you about, where you try to process that refund and it'll stop you and give you that warning and ask you again whether you want to actually process the portions of the refund that it is able to do. So that's why I say to then pause at that point and just refer it to me, and I'll go investigate into PayPal and see what's happening. Usually that happens if they've opened a dispute, but anytime I get a dispute, I just go through them and I don't dispute any of them. I just refund them all. So I clear those out quickly, and once I do that, and then I can go back into JVZoo and actually process the refund there, and it'll appropriately refund the parts that need to be done. Because otherwise, if I just let a PayPal dispute go through and never do the JVZoo refund, or if I just go to PayPal and refund it, then I never get refunded from JVZoo, and I never get refunded from the affiliates that have referred the sales and things of that nature. So with that said, refunds again are pretty simple. It's really just about tracking down the exact sale that they are talking about and actually getting that refund processed. If you're ever not sure if you have the right product or whatever, you can ask them, or you can even send me a message and ask me to try to look into it for you. So with this guy who has sent us 2 different tickets to ask for a refund, what I'm going to do here, let me close these extra pages. What I'm going to do now is go back to my home page, and I'm going to select his 2 tickets, and I'm going to click Merge Selected Tickets and click on Execute. And then I confirm by clicking on OK, and now his 2 tickets have become 1 ticket. So it is simply a reply for that second ticket. So now they're separated as 2 different replies. So now all you have to do is come in and reply to the 1 ticket instead of having to reply to both, or potentially even more tickets. I can't tell you how many people I get that will bombard me with one tiny little thing and a bunch of different tickets when it could easily be included in a single ticket, I guess. So with this guy who requested the refund, now I don't know how other people might handle refunds, like other marketers or whatever. I like to kill people with kindness when I refund them though. I act like, nothing's wrong, like I don't mind at all, because it's honestly not that big of a deal. It is something that comes with the business. You will always have a certain percentage of people that have to be refunded. Let me go look at my sales funnels here. I think this gives me, this gives me a percentage right here. So you can see sometimes 1 upwards of 4%. These have higher refund rates on Azon Masterclass and Azon Home Study Course, obviously, because they're much more expensive products. With the cheaper products, though, your refund rates are usually anywhere between 1, maybe upwards of 5% if the product, has some issues, or maybe if some affiliates promote it in the wrong way, if they try to sell it in a way that it doesn't actually do what they were trying to say that it does, those types of things can result in refunds. That's actually why on Azon Niche Master, why I had a 4% refund rate. I got picked as the product of the day on JVZoo, so they were promoting me up here, and they just used the word Amazon. They never said Amazon affiliate. And I got a lot of people that bought the product simply because JVZoo recommended it and said it was for Amazon, and they're like, I don't do affiliate stuff. I'm an Amazon vendor. Can I have a refund, please? So, there are sometimes little oversights like that where obviously I wish JVZoo had thrown the word affiliate in there. I would have had less sales from them than having to go through and process 20 refunds for them. But things like that happen. It is okay to go through here and process a refund for any product, for any kind of sale that might have come through at any point in time. You don't need to check with me and make sure there's enough funds or whatever in the PayPal account. I always make sure I have more than enough in PayPal to refund anything that could possibly come in. There's pretty much always, I don't know, a bare minimum of $1,000. I get minimum, or I get a little nervous when the PayPal account hits $1,000. So it usually stays well above that mark. And so, you don't have to worry about whether these refunds are going to actually go through, because if there's not money in the PayPal account, it will stop you when you go to click on the little confirm button or whatever and say, hey, you don't have any money. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to clear those with me or whatever. Refunds happen. I keep plenty of money there. They can be processed immediately. So once you process somebody's refund request, go back to their support ticket and just say, hi, Pat. Sorry that your purchases didn't work out for you. I have processed your refunds as requested. Please feel free to let me know if you need anything else. So I still keep it kind of short and sweet, but I usually throw out an apology. Even if they don't give me a reason, I still say sorry. Even if I know it's their fault, I still say sorry. It doesn't matter. I simply state that I processed their refund or refunds as requested. If for some reason you run across something where somebody's requesting a refund on a product that was made more than 60 days ago, PayPal simply will not let it go through. I can't even log into my PayPal account and force a refund. They can't file a dispute on a purchase over 60 days old. So, that's ultimately why that 60-day limit is there, and that really applies for anybody using PayPal and not just me. So even if somebody tells you they have a 30-day money-back guarantee and you bought it through PayPal, guess what? It's a 60-day money-back guarantee, whether they like it or not, because PayPal forces it to be that way. So if it has been more than 60 days, though, refer it to me. Sometimes, even though I can't refund their purchase, I will sometimes offer them something else if I can, if there's something else that might be acceptable for them. Or I might even offer them a future product of mine, or I'll try to figure out some way to try to make it right with them if I can't offer up that refund, because of PayPal or whatever. In some rare cases, I guess I have gone in and just sent the person a payment, but I lose money that way because I don't get my PayPal fees back. I don't get refunds from JVZoo and affiliates and all that other kind of stuff. And honestly, they can end up taking, depending on the sale and where it came from and all that stuff, sometimes 50%, upwards of all of it. 100% of some of my sales, I don't get a penny of. If I'm offering 100% commission on a product that, an affiliate then refers a sale to me and 60 days passes and then that person wants a refund, if I send them a refund, just make a payment to them for that refund, then, the affiliate still got paid for that entire purchase. I can't get that back. And I can't get back the JVZoo fee that I pay, and I can't get back the PayPal fee that I pay. So there are some circumstances where I simply can't do it. There are, again, some other circumstances where I have still done that. It just kind of really depends on what's going on. But I still will somehow try to make it right with them if it's possible. It's not always possible to do, though. That's another thing. If you're in a situation where somebody is just being horribly difficult or, excessively rude or anything like that, it's not the absolute end of the world. There's always going to be pissed off people, unfortunately, and I unfortunately cannot make every single person happy. I try to do my best to do so, but again, don't stress yourself out over somebody who is ultimately causing a problem and is probably never gonna be happy no matter what you do. Unfortunately, I can't go back in and, make changes to products and stuff like that because somebody doesn't like it a particular way. I'm more than happy to take feature request ideas, and if it's, things that I can implement into the future, I do try to do that. But, I try not to make any kind of guarantees as far as that sort of stuff goes. I used to try to cater to every tiny little request that I received many years ago to help me, build business when I was first getting started with selling my own products. But, ultimately, you can't really do that when you have a really large customer account. And plus, they'll kind of take advantage of it after a while. Things got a little out of hand with a couple particular people that I did try to cater to over the years, and so I guess try not to do that anymore. I try to do what I can, but I try not to go overboard, basically. And if there's ever somebody that comes up that's questionable or causing you problems or giving you a headache or something, please feel free to pass them off to me. It's not a problem at all. So I'm done with this guy's reply here. I make sure I don't have any blank lines at the bottom after I've told him that I have processed his refunds, so there's really nothing else to do with him except to actually send his message to him. Now, next one here, I've had another refund request that I loaded in here to show another example. Now, you can see here they provide an email up top here, Marsha Layton at Yahoo, but then they also provide another email down here. Now, this is also why I kind of wanted to show you this. If she had not provided me with that additional information, if she had just given me this email up here and just said, I want a refund on product style, thank you, Marsha, I would not have been able to find her purchase through this page here. I maybe could have come over here and searched for product style under that email address, And as you can see, even though it was not listed on JVZoo under that email, it is in my licensing database under that email. Do you know how on JVZoo, when you go to purchase a product, there are two places that you can enter in an email address. You can enter in an email address where you want essentially your purchase to get delivered to, but then you can also use a different email address for your actual purchase email for, you know, what your PayPal account is. That's where this differentiation of two different emails comes in and sometimes causes some problems or confusion. So they did their purchase using this email as their delivery email, which is why it shows up in my licensing system. But then they actually purchased using this email, which is their PayPal account email. So that's important to remember, because in JVZoo, when you're trying to process the refund, it won't go by the delivery email. It only works by the PayPal email. Even though, as you can see right here, that email shows up as the purchaser for the purchaser, and then, you know, this one is their PayPal email. But you can only search by PayPal email. Obviously, I wish they would fix that. Not really something I have a lot of control over, though. So again, this person is just asking for a refund, nothing really special about their request. So I can go through here and confirm it. Once you've typed in refund once, I just go up here and double click on the box to put it in instead of bothering with typing it in over and over again, because you're still clicking on the button again here and going through this whole process to confirm the refund. So I confirm the refund and make sure it goes through. Now every now and again, let's see, I guess I've only had it happen one time where I tried to process the refund and the affiliate didn't have money in their account to cover whatever was supposed to be refunded to me for it. It will still show some kind of a message and stop you at that point. So again, you know, if that doesn't go through, if it doesn't tell you afterwards the purchase was completely refunded, just, you know, let me know about it, pass the ticket along to me, whatever the case may be. So again here, hi Marcia. Sorry that your purchase didn't work out for you. I have refunded your purchase as requested. Please feel free to let me know if you need anything else. And again, make sure you don't have blank lines down below, and that can be sent. So refunds are fairly straightforward. Looking up licenses for people or creating licenses for them should also be a fairly straightforward type of support ticket. Really, anything else beyond that, beyond those three kind of basic types of tickets, everything else will be either questions, either about a product they purchased or about a product they're thinking about purchasing, or it might be questions relating to like technical problems. You know, if somebody has a problem installing a plugin, or if they experience a bug in it or something like that, you know, they will again send support tickets for those things. Now obviously you're not going to be able to handle all of these support tickets, but the whole point of doing this is just for you to handle the ones that you are able to handle, you know, the refunds and the looking up licenses and creating of licenses. And I'm sure even as we progress and, you know, you get a little more comfortable with it and learn more about it and everything, I'm sure you'll even be able to answer some of the questions that people throw in their support tickets. For the time being, if you would like, if you feel like it's a fairly basic question that you could learn the answer to and be able to answer it again in the future, you know, feel free to ask me and I can let you know what the answer is, and then you can reply to the ticket. And that way you'll kind of learn as we progress, you know, the general answers to a lot of the common questions or whatever. If you do run into something that just seems like it's going to be technical, or possibly if it's, you know, specifically directed at me or whatever, those things you can just immediately send my way. This particular ticket here is one that I put here just to show an example of that. Victor is a guy that's part of ASON Masterclass 2, and he was just sending me a message to let me know about something that he had worked out with another website, you know, doing some kind of like guest blogging exchange. It sounds like he worked out something there, and also was letting me know that Pinterest seems to be now offering advertising. So if you get something like this, which obviously seems to be directed at me, all you have to do once you're in the ticket here, up here in all these drop-down boxes, just go to Assign To and just click on my name right here and then click on Go. And that will automatically assign the ticket to me, and then it's no longer in your list. This will only show you the tickets that are assigned to you, so you won't have to worry about all the other ones that are tickets that, you know, you won't be able to handle. So that way you should be able to go through, and if it's something you can handle, handle it. If it's something you think you may be able to handle but you just don't know exactly how to do it, ask me, and, you know, we can kind of do like that over the course of a while, so you can kind of learn how things work and learn, you know, what particular answers to common questions may be. And then for the other ones that you just know it's something that I'm definitely going to have to handle, or if people are, you know, asking, I guess if they're asking specifically for me, for now you can just send those my way. Eventually I might give you like maybe possibly a list of people that it would, I wonder if there's any way I could put in a list into this ticket system that would get certain tickets to automatically come to me, like, you know, anybody that I've done Amazon training for and things like that nature. I, you know, invite them to contact me to ask me questions or whatever. You know, I don't have any problem personally answering them. But then I also have people that will just simply send me a support message, and they haven't bought anything from me, or maybe they just bought, like, you know, a $10 plugin or a $10 training system or something from me, and they want to ask a bunch of questions, want me to look at their website and review it for them and give them pointers and ask me if we can have a short phone conversation and all that other kind of stuff. You know, unfortunately, I, you know, can't address those types of questions for people. For right now, I do not have anything set up as another option for them, but if we do see that type of stuff on a regular basis, I may finally put something together in terms of basically a coaching package that you could then direct them to, where if they were asking for all that kind of stuff, you just say, well, Ryan spends all his time with his private trainees and, can't give a lot of personal help like that unless you're in his program, and, here's information on it if you would like to find out more and possibly join that. Seems to be what a lot of the other marketers do in terms of their support systems, and when people start asking them for a lot of one-on-one help and things of that nature. I'm not big though on selling the crazy expensive coaching programs. Most marketers have some kind of one-on-one coaching where it's like a subscription payment that costs anywhere in the $1,000 to $5,000 a month neighborhood. And I don't know, just Amazon's never felt like the best thing for that kind of coaching to justify that kind of money, especially. So it's just not something that I really have put together. May do something in the future. It wouldn't be any kind of crazy expensive coaching package. So for now, though, I guess you can just forward any request for me along to me, and I'll take care of them for the time being. Let's see, I've got one more ticket here that I transferred over. I sent this guy's ticket over for two reasons. Number one, he's asking a question that I commonly receive. Extendazon not working correctly with multi-site, or with Extendazon not working correctly for normal WordPress. Ultimately, there's two different copies of Extendazon. Let me search this guy's license here for Extendazon so we can find out, or so I can show you exactly what's going on, and so we can also provide them with the download link just in case. So as you see here on the download page, I'm not quite sure why people can't grasp that fact, but they will download the Extendazon multi-site edition and then send me tickets like this. I went to install on a new site and it states that it is multi-site and not suitable for normal WordPress installation. Yeah, I mean, it says multi-site edition right here. So this is only for Extendazon and not for any of my other plugins. And this will eventually go away once I release the next big version release of Extendazon. Not quite sure when that's going to be happening, but it's already, I don't know, 60 to 75% done. I just need to get the time to finish the rest of it. And then all that will be merged into one plugin that will work for normal WordPress or for multi-site. But in the meantime, if you get people like this, simply tell them that they have two separate plugins that they can download on the download page. Download Extendazon is the normal WordPress plugin for normal WordPress installations, and Extendazon Multi-Site Edition obviously for WordPress multi-site. So whenever I get somebody asking me a question like this, and I wanted to, he sent this in, was that 2 days ago, and that really wasn't even a long time to not get a reply for. I wanted to hold this off to show it to you, and then, you get any response, with a bunch of question marks around it, and, you're going to always have people, and this guy's really not that rude. I've had some extremely rude people send me messages. I don't get cussed out very often, but I have had maybe one or two messages where somebody just completely goes off on me, and on really for not any reason that's my particular fault. You unfortunately can't satisfy everybody, and no matter how much information or training or I could have right here in big bold words describing what these two different download links do, and I promise I would still receive support tickets like this. So, you know, it's just something that kind of comes along with the business. Whether they're rude or not, I try not to be rude back to them. And I'll just say, hi Ron. Extendazon is available in 2 different editions until the next major version release, which should be sometime this year, I hope. It sounds like you are using the multi-site edition and just need to download the other edition of the plugin to use it. I have looked up your download link for you and provided it below. That's where I, went and searched for his download link and copied it off of there. So just in case he doesn't have that anymore, because he's talking about he just went to install on a new site or something. So then you provide the download link and then just try to explain to them where on that page, they're looking for. So I'll just usually copy the exact words and just say the normal WordPress edition of the plugin is labeled as download Extendazon. The first link on that page. I think that's the first link. Yes, okay. Just say download a fresh copy of the plugin through that link, and it should install correctly. Please feel free to let me know if you have any other problems or questions. Sorry for any inconvenience, even though I definitely try to make that a little clear about what's going on there, and pretty sure I even talk about it in the guidebook too. It doesn't matter. I still try to apologize for it. So again, this should take care of that guy. I answer his question. This is a common question that you will likely see again until I get this updated. So that again should take care of him. And going back to the home, I was going to say I don't have any more tickets now. Looks like I got a reply from Marcia on the refund, and they simply said thank you. So I can mark that as being a resolved ticket now. So some of the tickets that come in, they'll just be replies to tickets you've already answered, and you'll just have to simply mark them down as being a resolved ticket. And then other ones you might actually, have to, the newer tickets, or sometimes the updated tickets, even if you have resolved their problem, they still may come back with an additional question for you or something. Obviously, if that was the case, then you would, want to answer that ticket a second or third or however many times it takes until they're satisfied and stop responding with additional questions for you. So that should cover at least the basics of support tickets. So again, all of the support tickets for the system are, as of basically right when you received all those notices earlier today, right before this webinar, is when I hooked it up to automatically assign new tickets to your account. So unless I did something incorrect there, any new tickets that come in from this point on should then automatically go to your account. And then, handle the ones that you can handle. The ones that you're not sure about, ask me questions on those. And the ones that you're sure that you're not going to be able to handle, then simply assign those to my account. And then I will get an email notice every time you assign a ticket to me, and then I'll know that I have a support ticket that I need to go and take care of. I want to